Say hello.
Hello, it's been a long day of walking and beautiful sights, and beautiful mosques and buildings, and everything we saw, and it is so
And we're in the Italian restaurant now.
yeah, beautiful.
Okay. Okay, I'm just going to walk through. Come on, walk through with me.
This man just walked on picking up his glasses.
Now, we haven't been to that. We didn't walk around the other floor. Waiting to check out. This is the checkout area, I guess. Nope. Well, apparently this is the main check-in area.
The stepped pyramid of Djoser at Saqqara is one of the most iconic and significant structures in ancient Egypt. It is the oldest known pyramid and represents a major architectural innovation, marking the transition from earlier tombs to the monumental pyramids that followed. The stepped pyramid is located at Saqqara, an ancient burial ground in Egypt, which was the necropolis for the ancient capital Memphis. Saqqara is situated about 30 kilometers south of modern-day Cairo. The pyramid was built during the 3rd dynasty of the Old Kingdom, circa 2670 BC, for Pharaoh Djoser, who reigned from around 2670 to 2640 BC. It was designed as a tomb for the king to ensure his safe passage to the afterlife. The stepped pyramid is considered to be the first large-scale stone structure in Egypt and is a pioneering example of pyramid construction. It marks the earliest known form of pyramid building, evolving from the earlier mastabas, rectangular, flat-roofed tombs. The pyramid itself consists of 6 steps or terraces, stacked on top of each other, creating the distinctive step shape. It originally stood at about 62 meters, 203 feet, in height, although it has since eroded. The pyramid is part of a much larger mortuary complex that includes a vast courtyard, temples, and a surrounding wall, creating an impressive monumental structure meant to honor the king. The stepped pyramid was designed by the architect Imhotep, who is one of the most famous figures in ancient Egyptian history. He was a vizier, physician, and architect, and he is often credited with revolutionizing Egyptian architecture. The structure was made of limestone, a common building material in ancient Egypt. It was originally covered with a smooth layer of white Tura limestone, giving it a polished appearance, but much of the outer casing has since been lost. The stepped pyramid's design was meant to symbolize the king's connection to the sun god Ra, and it is believed to represent a staircase that the king could ascend to join the gods in the afterlife. The pyramid was built not just as a tomb but as part of a larger mortuary complex to ensure the pharaoh's protection and eternal life. The complex contained temples, courtyards, and a funerary chapel, all intended to facilitate the rituals necessary for the pharaoh's afterlife journey. The burial chamber was located deep inside the pyramid. It was filled with grave goods and offerings meant to help the pharaoh in the afterlife. The stepped pyramid of Djoser is considered the prototype for later pyramids, including the smooth-sided pyramids of the 4th dynasty, such as the Great Pyramid of Giza. The architectural advances made at Saqqara influenced the development of Egyptian pyramid construction for centuries. The pyramid complex at Saqqara is one of the most important archaeological sites in Egypt and is part of the UNESCO World Heritage List. The site has undergone extensive archaeological excavations over the years, and it continues to yield valuable information about ancient Egyptian burial practices and architecture. Restorations have also been carried out to preserve the pyramid and its surrounding structures. The stepped pyramid of Djoser at Saqqara is a groundbreaking structure in ancient Egyptian architecture. As the first pyramid, it set the foundation for the massive stone structures that would become synonymous with ancient Egypt, particularly the Great Pyramids of Giza. Djoser's stepped pyramid not only signifies architectural innovation but also reflects the religious and cultural importance of the pharaoh's afterlife, marking the beginning of Egypt's most enduring and famous architectural achievements.
No, Merlin, don't take it.
One picture, yeah.
The decorated tombs at Saqqara are an important aspect of ancient Egyptian burial practices, particularly from the Old Kingdom, circa 2686–2181 BCE. Saqqara, which served as the burial ground for the ancient capital Memphis, contains a variety of tombs, including those of high-ranking officials, priests, and nobles. Many of these tombs are richly decorated with vivid wall paintings, carvings, and reliefs that offer a glimpse into daily life, religious beliefs, and the status of the individuals buried there. The walls of these tombs were adorned with detailed scenes that depicted various aspects of the deceased's life, such as their profession, family, daily activities, and interactions with gods. The artwork also featured mythological scenes, offering prayers and protection for the deceased in the afterlife. These could include depictions of agricultural work, fishing, hunting, and banquets, activities that reflected the deceased's role and wealth in life. Many tombs featured religious imagery, such as representations of the gods, like Osiris, Anubis, and Ra, as well as scenes of the deceased being welcomed into the afterlife. Offerings to the gods were often shown to ensure the deceased's protection. The tombs also depicted scenes of funerary rituals, such as the presentation of offerings, the embalming process, and the transportation of the deceased's body to the tomb. Famous examples of decorated tombs at Saqqara. Many tombs at Saqqara also include funerary texts such as the pyramid texts and coffin texts, which were meant to protect the deceased in the afterlife and help them navigate the challenges of the underworld. These texts could be inscribed on the walls of the tomb or on the burial chamber's coffin and were believed to provide magical protection. Many of the tombs feature scenes of the deceased receiving offerings from family members, servants, or even the gods. This imagery was important for the deceased's sustenance in the afterlife. The offerings might include food, drink, and symbolic items like jewelry or furniture. These types of scenes were symbolic of the deceased's need for sustenance in the afterlife. Fishing, in particular, was also associated with the renewal of life, as the fish were seen as symbols of rebirth and immortality. Gods like Osiris, the god of the afterlife, Anubis, the god of mummification, and Ra, the sun god, were often depicted as protectors of the deceased. They were meant to offer blessings and safeguard the deceased soul during its journey to the afterlife. The artistic style of these tombs followed strict conventions, with figures usually shown in composite views. Human figures typically had heads and legs in profile, but torsos were shown from the front. The size of individuals depicted in the tombs was also symbolic. The deceased and important figures were often shown larger than others, signifying their status. The color palette used in the tombs was rich and vibrant, with natural pigments derived from minerals. The use of color helped to bring the scenes to life and also had symbolic significance: green for fertility, red for chaos, blue for water, etc. Many of the tombs at Saqqara have been remarkably well preserved, thanks to the dry Egyptian climate and the use of stone and other durable materials. As a result, the decorated tombs offer invaluable insight into the culture, beliefs, and daily life of ancient Egypt. These tombs are considered one of the most important archaeological sites for understanding the social structure, religious practices, and funerary customs of ancient Egypt. The decorated tombs at Saqqara are rich in artistic, cultural, and religious significance. They provide a detailed view of the lives of the elite in ancient Egypt and their beliefs about the afterlife. Through the vivid depictions of daily life, religious rituals, and scenes of judgment, the tombs at Saqqara offer a window into the values and spiritual practices of one of the world's oldest civilizations. The tombs at Saqqara remain a key part of Egypt's ancient heritage and continue to attract scholars and visitors alike, providing invaluable information about ancient Egyptian culture and society.
I want you all inside. Come inside.
Recent discoveries at the Step Pyramid of Djoser at Saqqara have significantly expanded our understanding of this iconic ancient structure and its surrounding complex. Over the past few years, archaeological excavations and research at Saqqara have revealed a wealth of new information, including the discovery of previously unknown tombs, statues, and burial shafts. These findings have shed light on both the construction of the Step Pyramid and the broader funerary practices of ancient Egypt. In 2020, archaeologists uncovered several new tombs near the Step Pyramid. These tombs were believed to belong to high-ranking officials from the reign of Pharaoh Djoser, who commissioned the pyramid. These officials likely played significant roles in the building of the pyramid and in the administration of the royal court. The tombs contained important inscriptions, burial goods, and mummies, which provide valuable insight into the lives of the individuals who served Pharaoh Djoser. This discovery helps to further understand the social and political structure of ancient Egypt during the Third Dynasty. During excavations in 2021, a hidden shaft was discovered near the Step Pyramid. This shaft contained several well-preserved wooden coffins. Some of the coffins were inscribed with the names of individuals who had been buried there, shedding light on the use of this area for elite burials. The discovery of these coffins adds to the growing evidence of the complexity of the burial rituals at Saqqara, with tombs for both royal and non-royal individuals. In addition to finding new artifacts and tombs, significant restoration work has been underway at the Step Pyramid.
Carpet making in Egypt has a rich history that dates back centuries, with the craft playing a significant role in the country's culture, economy, and trade. The tradition of weaving carpets and textiles in Egypt evolved from ancient practices, influenced by various cultures and dynasties, and has become an important part of Egyptian heritage, particularly in regions like Cairo, Mansoura, Alexandria, and Nubia. While there is no direct evidence that the ancient Egyptians produced what we think of as modern carpets, the art of weaving was an essential part of their daily life. Egyptians were skilled in making textiles for clothing, home furnishings, and ritual purposes, and they used a variety of fibers, including flax and wool. Archaeological finds, such as those from the tombs of the pharaohs, suggest that Egyptians were acquainted with weaving techniques that could have influenced later carpet production. Egyptians used simple looms to create textiles, and their work was highly regarded. These early textiles were used for clothing, wall hangings, and ceremonial purposes. Baskets, mats, and floor coverings were likely made using these weaving techniques. The introduction of Islamic culture to Egypt in the 7th century brought with it new artistic influences, including those in weaving and textile production. During the Fatimid and Mamluk periods, 10th to 16th centuries, Egypt became an important center for the production of fine textiles, including carpets. During this time, the intricate geometric patterns and floral motifs that characterize traditional Islamic carpets began to influence Egyptian textile production. Many carpets were produced for use in mosques, palaces, and homes of the elite, with designs often reflecting Islamic values and aesthetics. Ottoman Egypt, 16th century onwards, saw further refinement of carpet weaving techniques, especially in the capital, Cairo. The Ottoman Empire helped bring new methods of design and weaving that integrated both Turkish and Persian influences.
The Giza pyramids are some of the most famous and recognizable ancient structures in the world. Located on the Giza Plateau, just outside of Cairo, Egypt, these pyramids have been a source of fascination for historians, archaeologists, and travelers for centuries. They were constructed during Egypt's Old Kingdom, circa 2686–2181 BCE, and are some of the most enduring symbols of ancient Egyptian civilization. Built for Pharaoh Khufu, Greek name, Cheops, the Great Pyramid is the largest of the three pyramids at Giza. It was originally constructed as a tomb for Khufu and is believed to have been completed around 2570 BCE. Originally, the Great Pyramid stood at 146.6 meters, 481 feet, though it now stands at about 138.5 meters, 454.4 feet, due to the loss of its outer casing. It was the tallest man-made structure in the world for over 3,800 years. The pyramid was constructed with an estimated 2.3 million limestone blocks, each weighing between 2.5 to 15 tons. The interior of the Great Pyramid contains a series of chambers, including the King's Chamber, which housed the burial chamber of Khufu. It also has intricate passageways and a famous ascending corridor. The second pyramid at Giza was built for Pharaoh Khafra, the son of Khufu. It is slightly smaller than the Great Pyramid but appears taller due to its elevated position on the plateau. The Pyramid of Khafra stands at 143.5 meters, 471 feet, tall, though it is slightly shorter than the Great Pyramid. Khafra's pyramid is unique in that it still has some of its original smooth limestone casing at the top. It is also associated with the famous Great Sphinx of Giza, which sits at its eastern side. The Sphinx is a monumental statue with the body of a lion and the head of Pharaoh Khafra, symbolizing royal power. The smallest of the three pyramids at Giza, the Pyramid of Menkaure, was built for Pharaoh Menkaure, Greek name, Mykarinos. It stands at 65 meters, 213 feet, tall. Menkaure's pyramid is constructed from a mixture of limestone and granite, giving it a slightly different appearance than the other pyramids. The pyramid complex of Menkaure also includes several smaller subsidiary pyramids and temples associated with the king's mortuary cult. Menkaure's pyramid is famous for its elaborate burial chambers and the large statues of the pharaoh found inside. Each of the pyramids at Giza is associated with a mortuary temple, where rituals and offerings were made to honor the king's soul and ensure his continued existence in the afterlife. The mortuary temple of Khufu is the largest, located near the Great Pyramid. The temples were connected to causeways that led to valley temples, where further rituals were performed. The causeways were long, raised pathways that connected the pyramids to their respective valley temples, where the king's body was prepared and the rituals were carried out. The valley temples are located near the base of the Giza Plateau and were part of the elaborate funerary process. These temples were richly decorated with scenes depicting the king's journey to the afterlife. The exact methods of constructing the pyramids remain a subject of debate among historians and archaeologists. While the ancient Egyptians did not have modern tools, they employed simple machines, such as ramps and levers, to move massive stone blocks into place. Workers likely used slaves, skilled laborers, and engineers to construct the pyramids. Some estimates suggest that the construction of the Great Pyramid may have taken around 20 years. The core of the pyramids was constructed with limestone, while the outer casing was originally made from finer, white Tura limestone. The inner chambers and burial vaults often used granite, a much harder and more durable material. The limestone was quarried locally, while the granite used for the interior chambers was transported from quarries in Aswan, located about 800 kilometers, 500 miles, to the south. Religious and cultural significance. The Giza pyramids were built as tombs for the pharaohs, serving as monumental structures to ensure their safe passage to the afterlife. Ancient Egyptians believed that the pharaohs were divine figures, and the pyramid served as a means to facilitate their ascension to the gods. The shape of the pyramid itself, with its smooth, sloping sides, was symbolic of the Benben stone, a mythical object associated with the primordial mound of creation in ancient Egyptian mythology. The pyramid was thought to represent the pharaoh's path to the sun god Ra and eternal life. The pyramids as tourist attractions. The Giza pyramids have long been a major attraction for tourists visiting Egypt. Millions of visitors from around the world come to witness the scale and majesty of the pyramids, as well as the surrounding archaeological sites. In recent years, new technologies, such as laser scanning and 3D mapping, have been employed to further explore the pyramids and gain insights into their construction, history, and preservation. The Giza pyramids are not just architectural marvels, but they are also symbols of ancient Egyptian religious beliefs, royal power, and technological ingenuity. These pyramids continue to captivate people with their grandeur, mystery, and cultural significance. They are one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world and remain a UNESCO World Heritage Site, drawing scholars, tourists, and archaeologists alike, as they continue to uncover new aspects of this ancient wonder.
Let me get a picture of the boys and the deal here.
You have to give them a buck.
You don't have to stop walking.
The Great Sphinx of Giza is one of the most iconic and recognizable monuments of ancient Egypt. Located on the Giza Plateau, near the pyramids of Giza, the Sphinx has intrigued scholars, tourists, and archaeologists for thousands of years. Its grandeur, symbolism, and mysterious origins make it a captivating symbol of ancient Egyptian culture. The Great Sphinx is a massive statue with the body of a lion and the head of a human. It is carved from a single piece of limestone. The statue measures about 66 feet in height and 240 feet in length, making it the largest monolithic statue in the world. The head of the Sphinx is believed to represent a pharaoh, traditionally thought to be Pharaoh Khafra, also known as Hefren, who ruled during the 4th dynasty of the Old Kingdom, circa 2570 BCE. The face, however, has undergone significant erosion and restoration over the centuries, making it difficult to conclusively identify. The body of the Sphinx is that of a lion, which was a symbol of strength, power, and divine protection in ancient Egypt. The Great Sphinx is located near the pyramids of Giza, directly adjacent to the Pyramid of Khafra, and faces toward the east, possibly in alignment with the sunrise. The Sphinx sits on the Giza Plateau, which was the burial ground for the pharaohs of the Old Kingdom. It lies near the entrance to the pyramid complex, where it likely served as a protective guardian of the sacred burial sites. The exact date of the Sphinx's construction is debated, but it is commonly attributed to Pharaoh Khafra, who reigned during the 4th dynasty around 2570 BCE. Some scholars, however, suggest that it could have been constructed earlier, possibly by Khufu's father, Sneferu, or another ruler. The purpose of the Sphinx remains uncertain, but it is generally believed to have served as a guardian figure for the pyramid complex of Khafra. Its lion body symbolizes strength and might, while the human head represents wisdom and intelligence, blending human and animal forms as a divine protector. The Sphinx was likely intended to guard the mortuary temple of Khafra, ensuring the safety of the pharaoh's tomb and assisting in the king's journey to the afterlife. The lion's body and the human head are symbolic of the balance between animal and human power. In Egyptian mythology, lions were associated with the sun god Ra and were believed to have protective qualities. The Sphinx also symbolizes the pharaoh's divine power and role as a mediator between the gods and the people. As a representation of the king, the Sphinx would have been a reminder of the pharaoh's divine right to rule and his connection to the gods, especially Ra. The Sphinx's orientation towards the eastern horizon could also symbolize the king's connection to the sun, and the rising sun in particular, a crucial element in Egyptian religion. The sun god Ra was thought to be reborn every morning, and the Sphinx may have been positioned to acknowledge this celestial rebirth. The Sphinx has played an important role in Egyptian culture for millennia. Throughout history, it has been regarded not only as a symbol of royal power and protection but also as a source of mystery and fascination. The Sphinx is closely associated with the Pyramid of Khafra and the surrounding funerary complex, which includes temples, causeways, and the nearby Valley Temple, reinforcing its role as a protector of the tomb and the afterlife. Over the centuries, the Great Sphinx has been significantly damaged by erosion and natural wear. The body and face have suffered from centuries of weathering, and parts of the Sphinx's face have been defaced over time. The Sphinx has undergone multiple restoration projects over the years, especially in modern times. In the 19th and 20th centuries, there were significant efforts to repair and stabilize the monument. The cause of the erosion is often attributed to the wind and sand, as well as potential rain, which is uncommon in Egypt but occurred occasionally in ancient times. One of the most debated issues surrounding the Great Sphinx is its age. While it is traditionally attributed to Pharaoh Khafra, some scholars argue that the erosion patterns on the statue suggest a much older origin, possibly predating Khafra by thousands of years. This theory, known as the Sphinx water erosion hypothesis, suggests that the Sphinx might have been carved as early as 10,000 BCE, though this theory is not widely accepted. The Sphinx is famously missing its nose, and various theories exist about how it was lost. Some believe it was deliberately destroyed by iconoclasts, who sought to erase pagan symbols, while others suggest it was damaged by natural causes, such as erosion or earthquakes. The exact reason remains unclear, though it has become one of the most famous aspects of the Sphinx's appearance. As a symbol of royal power and divine protection, the Great Sphinx may have served multiple roles, including as a guard for the pyramids, a representation of the pharaoh, or even as a focal point for religious and ritual practices. Today, the Great Sphinx of Giza is a major tourist attraction and an emblem of Egypt's ancient civilization. It continues to draw millions of visitors each year, who come to admire its size, beauty, and historical significance. The Sphinx is also a cultural and national symbol for Egypt, appearing in many forms of media, art, and popular culture. The Sphinx has inspired countless legends, theories, and stories over the centuries. Some ancient texts and myths reference the Sphinx as a mystical or even malevolent figure, often associated with riddles or tests of wisdom. The Greek myth of the Sphinx and Oedipus is a notable example. The statue has also been the subject of extensive academic and archaeological study, with researchers continuing to explore its origins, purpose, and symbolic meanings. The Great Sphinx of Giza remains one of the most mysterious and awe-inspiring monuments of the ancient world. Whether as a guardian of the royal tombs, a symbol of the pharaoh's divine power, or a figure of great mythological significance, the Sphinx continues to captivate the imagination of people worldwide. Its monumental scale, enigmatic presence, and enduring legacy make it one of the most important symbols of ancient Egyptian civilization.